Good evening, fellow traders. How's everybody doing today? It is the beautiful first day of June here in the central US. It is just after 8 p.m. Central Time. Big news today, of course, stock market's closed positive. We'll just start with that. S&P up 18, Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 135 points, NASDAQ up 48 points. Crude, gold, and silver down just a little bit for the day. But the big news, of course, Trump made the official announcement today that the USA is leaving the Paris Accord. The Paris Accord, of course, is an agreement drafted throughout many countries across the world about controlling pollution, trying to stop climate change, and better the world, that type of thing. So there's a lot of media attention to that right now. A lot of people are saying it might be one of the worst things that was ever done by the president so far. A lot of businesses are acting out, and there's just been a lot of posts, even in the Forex news feeds. I see that Germany is going to work with China, they're going to work without the US, and all this other stuff. So just a lot of unrest politically because of that. Some of you watching might be in favor of it, some might be against it, but either way, it's something that we can learn from and watch to better our Forex trading results. So that's what I advise you to do. Take the information and use it to your advantage, whether or not you're on one side or the other. So with that being said, I think it's a key point. Try not to let your emotions get involved when you hear things on the news like this, whether you are on one side or the other. Just use it as a benefit to move the markets and trade and create volatility that will let you profit in the end. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all on sale. Erebus. I was teasing you a little, Erebus, on the pound yen. You know, you might have known I posted the pound yen trade idea, and I said this is not for the faint of heart, I think. Sort of a risky trade. Gave it a 6 out of 10. It got stopped out, and I was teasing him in there a little bit. Good evening, sir. Jenny, how's it going? Amrit, Super Nuba. Max Pro, how's it going? I haven't talked to you for a long time. Twister Fire, bring stability. Fiona. That's funny, Fiona. Yeah, that's Trump's Twitter misspelling. Big Dave, Erebus, nice to see you all. Hope you're all doing great. So I'm going to get right down to business. But before I do, just to remind you, tomorrow, as you probably know very well, is the big news, the first Friday of every month, non-farm employment change out of the U.S. Let me toggle over to this for just a moment and show you what I'm looking at. Just a quick toggle and a zoom. We'll zoom our way up here. Get it nice and big. There we go. So the news earlier today, we had the ADP non-farm employment change that came up much better than expected out of the USD. But unemployment claims came in worse than expected. ISM manufacturing came in a little better than expected. Crude oil inventories were down. And then President Trump speaking, of course, which I think could shake up the markets even more tomorrow. We'll see how it all pans out, of course. But tomorrow we have a Italian bank holiday, and we also have big news coming out of Great Britain, construction PMI. But the Big Mac Daddy right down here, non-farm payrolls, previous 211,000 jobs, expected 181. We'll see how that number comes out. But this is known, if you're new to trading or new to this room, because there's been a lot of people signing up the last week or so here at Forex Signals. If you're new here, non-farm payroll is pretty much one of the most volatile, if not the most volatile news releases, aside from interest rate announcements and things that the Forex market can entail. So we have that at the same time as important high-impact Canadian news. We have average hourly earnings. So what you see at this time is very interesting because some of these news events could be highly positive or highly negative, but the other one could be the opposite. So you see a lot of volatility, a lot of gaps, a lot of slippage with your brokers. People will have a stop of, say, 30 points, and they'll get it hit before the news even comes just because the gaps widen, the spreads widen, I mean. So you get the idea. Trading the Canadian dollar or the US dollar or anything that's based in the US dollar during this time is very risky. Things like silver, gold, oil, those types of things. But what we have tomorrow is Tony coming in. he is going to be streaming live right during non-farm payroll. And if you're new here, you can click remind me and you'll get an email 15 minutes, I believe, before the stream starts. And if you toggle up here, you can see all the previous recordings as well. So Tony's going to be streaming live. Non-farm payroll is at 7:30 a.m. Central Time. You know, obviously, you'll have to figure out your time zone wherever you are there. And then as soon as he's done with his stream, usually around 7:45, Andrew and I are going to come on together in a joint live stream and go over the news, the week that we had, talk about some of our trading results, what we're watching for, and then look at the week ahead and see what we're going to watch for. We'll talk about things over the weekend, that kind of stuff. So it's just a fun thing. We all get together. So you have Tony, Andrew, myself, all within the same hour. It's a good time to ask questions, to get discussions going in the chat room. So with that being said, we talked about the stock markets being up, of course, today. And I was looking through the news here, just talking about crude hitting lows, that type of thing. But let's see. There was a little bit of news I wanted to bring up here before I flip this off. Yeah, here it was. The Japanese stock market tops 20,000 for the first time since 2015. It rose to 20,047. So that is basically, you know, some risk on in the market. Part of the reason, not all the reason, but part of the reason that the yens have weakened and the yens have rose since then. Pretty much happened since 7 p.m., so about an hour ago. Let's jump on over to a quick peek at our momentum meter, and then I'll show you the trades I'm in and what I'm watching. Momentum meter, we see euro the strongest across the board, along with the Swiss franc. The Japanese yen is the weakest right now. The US dollar is also coming on a little bit of weakness here in the last 15 minutes. But we see some moderate strength all the way across the board on most of the currencies, except for the yen and the dollar. And you can see the deviation from the 20 moving average here. The lowest one is the Japanese yen, and that's been riding low most of the day here, all the way through the day. And the big high one was the Swiss I don't trade, which has come back down towards its 20 moving average. And the Great British Pound is the one that's a little bit higher than all the rest right now. So this is the 1 hour momentum meter here. Andrew's commentary is entered here, as he does throughout the day. I don't think he put anything in today, though. But that's a quick snapshot at that. So let's get down to the charts and where I'm at. So trade idea number 1, we had the euro pound that was posted earlier today, I believe. And I still feel pretty good about this. We took profits on the euro pound before and wrote it up 15, 16 pips here. And trying to do the same basic trade again, but just with a little lower entry, a little further stop to the upside. Just so you can see the price action here a little bit. It's also posted in a trade idea. 87.09 or so is the entry. And the profit target is up here ways. You can adjust that down a little lower if you like. It's 87.58. And the stop is down around 86.74, 86.73. So we have a nice greater than 1-to-1, about a 35 pip stop, 48, 49 pip target. If you zoom out on the chart a little bit, you can see that we're still definitely in a strong uptrend on the euro pound. And like Andrew always says, the trend is your friend until the end, till it bends in the end. So the question is, are we bending down now, or are we just retracing, giving us a better deal like we have now to buy and get long again? Look, the euro has been a strong currency across the board. I like to always compare it to other currencies, such as the Australian dollar, which of course has been weak. I was selling the Aussie dollar last night late. I even watched Nick's video. If you haven't seen a little video from the Penthouse Suite, I think he played it at 1 or 2 in the morning last night, Central Time here. And I was up even a couple hours past that, trading the Aussie dollar short, which went really well. But if we take a peek over at my favorite pair, the Euro Aussie, you can see that the Euro is still much stronger than the Aussie. It's in a strong uptrend on the Euro pound. You know, the euro, ever since the French elections, a lot of power there. We busted out above the range that we were in before. Remember what I was talking about yesterday? We were in this range, sort of stuck right in this range. We wanted to either be busting out or go below and to try to get on the train. I did not trade this, though, even though I was getting a piece of it by selling the Australian dollar. I was playing the Aussie weakness, but this is a nice breakout to the upside. If we look left on the Euro Aussie, there's really not a lot of technical resistance anymore all the way up for 460 pips. I mean, there's a wick in the middle here on the weekly time frame. But if you look left, even if we shrink the chart down on the daily, look left, and the next resistance is still 1.5637, and we're only at 51. So the question is, what do you do with it right now? That's always the question I like to ask. I would not be a fan of buying it at this point. I would want to get some kind of a retracement on this pair. And I think the best thing to do is to try to look for a confluence of support, which would be right here on the 1 hour, which would be around 5109, and see if we can get confluence of that with our Fibonacci retracements. We take to swing low, to swing high, and let's just drag this a little bit further over here. And you can see, by zooming in a little bit, this swing high here on the Euro Aussie matches up within 2 pips or so, maybe 3 pips of the 38.2 fib. So if you're trying to get long on the Euro Aussie, but you're not getting the best price, you're trying to find the sweet spot, I think somewhere in this area would be a good time to be buying the Euro Aussie. You could buy it now, but I would expect at least some pullback on it. That's the part that's hard to predict. You know, I'm not going to try to tell you I can see the future. It would be nice. But this is a long ways down. We're talking 75 pips down. So if the Euro Aussie does sort of unfold a little bit, this might be a good place to get long. So my point is, I'm looking at strength in the Euro Pound to rise, hopefully. Looking for strength in the Euro Aussie to continue, maybe after a little pullback here. And finding the Euro to be one of the stronger currencies across the board. So again, that's sort of 3 little strategies, if you will, all in one. You want to see if your currency is strong related to other currencies and pick the one that you like the most. Then you also want to find the entry if we get a better price. You don't want to just jump in and buy right now, even though you might be fine. You want to try to find the best entry and get a better price. And if you miss it, you miss it. You know, you don't want to panic too hard. Miss it, you miss it. But it's better to miss them than to get in some too early and lose. So that's what I have right now. I got the long on the Euro Pound. We got a long on the Euro Aussie if it retraces a ways. I'm definitely bullish on the Euro Dollar. Euro Dollar is sitting at 1.2206 right at the moment. We had our nice pullback. And if we use our little tool here, I'm sorry I'm not looking at the chat at the moment. I'm just trying to cover at least the basic stuff I wanted to cover here. You can see that this wick, just good old-fashioned technical trading. Again, this is hindsight, so it's always easier in hindsight, but it was a level I was watching to confirm my long position on the Euro Pound even more, is the Euro retraced down, basically 50-some pips, but we got stuck right at this area of support, and now we're bouncing off of that. Doesn't mean it's going to continue to move up, no, but it gives us at least some structural integrity that held up a little bit. Structural integrity that held up a little bit. And as far as this move, I had this fib up here before, and you can see we just about came down to the 38.2. We sort of respected that area. And the theory behind Fibonacci, I'm not going to waste your time on this, but in a nutshell, the deeper you get a retracement with Fibonacci, the lower it goes, the less we project the expected target. If it only pulled back a little, we expect a lot further projection. And you can use a A to B, a B to C type projection, whatever you like. Let's just measure this one right now. I haven't measured it yet, but this is about 95, 96 pips. And this move right in the middle here, where my cursor is swinging. And if we go back here, 93 pips. So, we have A to B equals B to C. And again, if you're having trouble seeing that, we're just measuring this move here compared to this move here. So if it continues up, we might have another move just like this from this point up, which could put us up, above our areas of potential resistance to the upside. The resistance to the upside on the Euro Dollar is pretty clear. We have some swing highs here. If I shrink my chart down a little bit, we have the swing high that we just put in not too long ago, roughly 23, 24 hours ago at 112.56. We also have the swing highs that were put in back in on May 22nd and 23rd, around 126.25. I'm sorry, 112.20, 112.62. Got too many bright lights on me here. 112.67. These swing highs. If we can pass those on the euro buck, to the moon is where she could go. I mean, there's really not a lot of resistance on this one. So I like euro strength. That's my point. I like the euro strength, which is the reason when I sold, you know, if you were in the chat before, I was selling pound yen and dollar yen. I put the trade idea here for the pound yen. It looks something just like this. And I put my stop above this area here, this wick that was put in on May 23rd, as a potential zone of resistance to the upside. The reason I sold pound yen is that I like euro strength more. And if I'm going to buy a yen currency, I'd rather buy the euro yen. And if I was going to sell, I'd rather sell the pound yen based on my own personal bias. It might be different than yours, but my bias was strong euro, weak pound, hence my trade long in the euro pound. The whole thing could be wrong, but that's my bias. So that's what I encourage you to do as well, is get your bias and then stick to it and dig through the markets, dig through the time frames, top-down analysis, find the pairs that sort of coagulate with one another most, and pick the one that floats to the top as the best bang for your buck. So there's a lot of time, and we have sort of almost a little bit of a head and shoulders on the hourly down here. It's a little broken, but we definitely have this area that was broken on the pound yen. So this trade, of course, stopped out pretty quick right after 7 o'clock. I mean, we had the stock markets open there that were, you know, the highest they've been since 2015. And I wasn't, you can see I'm stopped out right at the very tip again. I mean, how many times can that happen, right? But now we're consolidating. So I still think that I'm happy to be out of this trade. I didn't want my stops any further than this. I think this was far enough. This was about 10 pips past my little gray box area, my zone, and I was stopped out right at the very, very, very tip. Now, that tip could be a good deal if price continues to rise, which it very well may on the pound yen. My bias since the news, the world indices being positive, is definitely changing now to be biased to the upside on the yen pairs. And, you know, you have to be able to flip on a dime with that stuff. I've been trying to rate my trades here in the trade ideas. This is the first one I rated. I called it a 6 out of 10. Not to get too excited about, but it was, and I said it's not for the timid, I think is what I said. So a little risky trade there. But again, you risk your set percent, 0.5%, 0.75%, 1%, whatever you like. Whatever your favorite flavor. By the way, I know I'm sort of rambling on here, but I did a great interview. I really, really liked talking to this guy. Top place finisher in the May trading contest. We had a nice, I think it was 35 minutes maybe, chat. You're really going to want to listen to that interview when it gets posted. Dominic is the guy who edits them. So I've already sent the file off. So now it's out of my hands. And I should be interviewing the next two, second and third place soon. One of them is gone until next week on vacation, but we'll get it done. You can also find them on SoundCloud under Forex Signals. So that's where I'm at. Just to give you rapid fire as quick as I can go here. I'm long euro pound. I like euro strength. I'm not convinced in any fashion to be motivated to be buying any of the yen pairs, euro yen, pound yen, dollar yen, or Aussie yen. My bias is slightly changing now, breaking through the levels of technical resistance on the pound yen and the dollar yen, and seeing the world indices picking up, especially with the Nikkei. Buying JGBs, Bank of Japan. So with that being said, a lot of traders use Thursday night, well, wherever you are in the world, but you generally, a lot of traders I know use 12 to 24 hours before non-farm as a time to get a couple little trades in, but basically liquidate their trades before the big non-farm news. Tony does a really, really good job of trading right through non-farm. I think he trades dollar yen, at least the few times I've seen him do it. But you can watch that live tomorrow as well. So a lot of the traders and analysts that I talk with and watch online, they're basically saying, you know, take your positions, decide when you're getting out, and just be out before non-farm, because you just never know what's going to happen. Something like the Euro Pound, Euro Aussie, some of those crosses, they're not super risky during non-farm compared to the dollar-based pairs or the commodities. So that's my sort of cram session on that. So be very aware of the news that's coming out of Great Britain overnight, and also the non-farm, of course. National Day in Italy tomorrow. I'm sort of giving you a rapid fire here. Let's take a look. Yeah, take a look. I'll take a look at the chat here. Currently changed by Great British Pound. Yeah, I know it. You know what I like is you post. Yeah, he does every stream. You post the same thing 3 times in 1 minute. You gotta give me a minute to answer. I got a little delay here. All respect. Tony does usually place live trades during the non-farm. Oh yeah, I see it up there. Sorry about that, my bad. You posted it earlier. So it's all good. So Nick, I think that's a good idea. Let's take a look at some of the functions of the room, and I'll give you a little better view of that. And I'm going to make this quick because a lot of you already know these things, but I'm going to make it quick and to the point. So number one, if you have a trade idea, don't be afraid to post it here. You click add your idea, you put it in, use the drop downs, you drag your image there, and you can post your own trade idea. If you like a trade idea, let's use my Euro Pound one here. If you like the trade idea, very first trade, so a little nervous, oh my goodness. If you like the trade idea, you can click a heart on it, you can post a comment on it, and you'll get a notification in the room every time someone else comments on that same trade idea. The other thing you can do is click on a trader's name. We'll just use mine here. If you click on my name, you'll see all the trade ideas that I've posted, and you can refresh by clicking down below. A lot of you know this, so just bear with me. But you can look at all the trade ideas that a person has posted. If you want to look at, say, the Euro Pound, we'll skip the Pound Yen for a minute. But if you look at the Euro Pound, you got it, Billima 101. I didn't see your post up above. If you click on the pair, like say we click on the Pound, Euro Pound, you can see all the other trade ideas. Let me zoom this in for you just a little bit more. I don't think we can. So you'll see all the other trade ideas that are on the Euro Pound at that time. So I've talked to a lot of traders from this room, and yeah, thanks. Sorry about that. I talked to a lot of traders from this room, and I think it's pretty common knowledge before they get in a big trade and something they're really looking at, they'll look for, say, the Euro Pound. You click this little tab, Euro Pound, and it will load up all the other traders' opinions and trade ideas on the Euro Pound, and you can see all of them going back a long ways. So you can look at the trade ideas that way or by the traders, which is really nice. And then you click this little area right here, says reset search, and it goes right back to where we started. The top trader contest is huge, big stuff. All you have to do is have an account with one of the brokers that Forex Signals uses and partners with. You can open up an account. I believe it's $1,000 to have an account and trade it live. Top 3 winners are posted each month. $750 to first place, $500 to second, and $250 to third. And the other cool part about this is we have a top trader leaderboard, which is an ongoing, since we've started this hierarchy. And then we have the top traders for June. There is minimum trade requirements. As you can see, it says min trade. That means that there has been less than, I think, 20 trades. I think it's 10 or 20 on the monthly and 50 on the long term. But if we click on, let's use Erebus right here. It is huge because you're right at the top, Erebus. I love it. If we click on Erebus, you can expand and you can see the growth for this month, which is awesome. 5% growth, really, really good, obviously. We're right in the beginning of the month. You can see the balance and rising. You can see the drawdown, and you can see all the currency pairs that were traded across the board. So you can look and do a breakdown. You can see the broker that they're using, and it's just a nice way to track them. And you also see the scrolling feature here that shows all the trades that have been opened and closed in the recent past. You can click the orange button here to learn more about it. I touched on this in the past here just a little, but if you want to see the live streams that are coming up, you click on upcoming. You can scroll across. Click this little yellowish orange tab to see all the recordings of previous ones. You can remind me to get an email sent to you. There's also a course here. If you click the basics up in the top left, how to start trading in Forex, all the different topics that Andrew has done. If you want to watch what a pip is, you can click that and go right into him telling you what a pip is. And these videos are pretty cool. So if you're new to trading, or even if you're not new, it's sometimes nice to watch those things. We also have the managed accounts. You can click on that, and that will take you over to Think Huge. Forex managed accounts, you can see that there. Looking at Steady Capture, doing an amazing job. We have our forums. That's one of the things I probably missed the most when I started out, is the forums. It sort of is amazing to me how many people are in the forums. I mean, there's some people that have been in this room for a long time that still aren't even in the forums yet. You can see there's 46,000 members, 1,300 active members in the forums, 49,000 posts, and almost 1,000 topics. 204 users currently online. When I come in the forum, I like to click on the latest activity up here in the top. And you can see all the latest activity, you know, talking about managed accounts and different pairs and, you know, how you got started, pictures of people's trading setups, that kind of thing. So don't forget to look at the forums. We also have our own economic calendar. I use Forex Signals, I use Forex Factory, but you can also use our own economic calendar right here. So you can see even more detail. This economic calendar here in the Forex Signals room has much more detail and much more news events than the one on Forex Factory does. It has more of the low and medium events there. So those are just a few of the functions of the room, but I want to show you a couple more. Let's just say, I know it's sort of funky to look at a video in a video. Let's say you click on Andrew's name, one of the trading mentors here at Forex Signals. If you click on his name, it'll pop up here, and you can send a private message by clicking the envelope, or you can hover over this button to follow Andrew. And one of my favorite parts about these trade ideas is, and a lot of you know this already, is that if you follow a user, every time they post a trade idea, it'll be sent to your email. I think it gets sent right away or pretty darn quickly after. So, for example, Andrew has 586 followers. So when he posts a trade idea, say he wants to buy the pound dollar, it'll come right to your email right away with a picture of the trade and the levels where he's thinking of getting in or getting back out. So definitely follow the people that you like to follow. You can do that with any trader here in the room. Let's see. Yeah, I know it. You can break out the chat box. You got it. If you look down, way down in the corner, right by the chat, there's a little pop-out chat. We got the emojis. I know we really got the screen inception, I know. But you get the emojis. You can click that and pop out the chat. You won't be able to see mine here, I don't think, right now. But you can pop the chat out and let me get rid of that. And put it on a different screen, or you can make it larger. This is like looking at a mirror in a mirror, isn't it? Probably should get rid of that pretty soon. The other thing is the FX propulsion strategy. You can watch Andrew's tutorial video. You can click here to download it. And the neat thing about this, that's the momentum meter. We call it the propulsion strategy and the momentum meter. But you can download those indicators and get a PDF guide on how to use it, as well as video training and instructions how to install it onto your broker. So really cool. These little tabs are great. Trade ideas, top trader contest, and the FX propulsion strategy. The other thing you can do is visit us over on Facebook, Twitter. You can check out our YouTube page. You can subscribe to our YouTube page to get notifications every time we do a live stream. And the list goes on and on and on. There's a lot of great ways to interact here, and I'm probably even missing some. But I think that's a good start. What do you guys think? Did I miss something? Let's go back over to the charts here. There we go. Enough of that. Started looking like a mirror in a mirror, starting to get me a little bugged out. So what am I going to do with the yen pairs? I'm going to sit on them. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to touch them until non-farm payroll's over. I can say, I mean, these resistance levels to the upside were broken. So my bias is possibly changing to the upside on them instead of selling. We had some nice trades short on the pound yen and the euro yen in the not too recent past. You know, we made some pips on that. Same thing with the metals. Remember yesterday I was talking about silver looking a little bit heavy, you know, like we're going to maybe roll over. And this is just classic. If you're a big silver trader or you're into trading silver, we start putting in these lower highs and we start punching out the bottoms and it starts to sort of roll over. This is the 4 hour on silver. We had those excellent trades. Those trades really were great. I know a bunch of you got in on those, but those silver trades are some of the best ones I had this year from the bottom up here. But silver, I'm starting to be biased more to the downside. Silver's getting a little burned out right now. Gold, I'm still not biased to the downside on gold. So hence me not being in any trades right now in the metals. If you simply connect these lines here, we still have a rising trend line. On the hourly, we're putting in higher lows. We're still putting in higher highs, you know, including this wick. We'll see if we put in a higher high here or not. So gold, I still think is bullish. I just don't like getting in big on a commodity like gold or silver when they're not running tandem. Doesn't have to be exact, but I don't like it when I'm feeling down on one and up on the other. It just is my own thing. Doesn't have to be that way for everybody. We are keeping an eye on this possible head and shoulders here on the daily on gold, which has basically been broken now to the upside. I'm going to just clear everything off of the gold chart here for a moment. Let's get rid of everything. There we go. So it's looking a little tired, but you know, you can't argue with it. It's still an uptrend here on the shorter term time frames. We got this sort of channel that has been setting up. You know, it's not perfect, but you get the idea. So I'm not ready to sell gold yet. However, I would be ready to sell silver if gold would start to break down just a little bit more. Maybe non-farms will kick it into gear. We'll see. So I'm just giving you my bias here. There's not a lot of solid trades that I'm looking at. Euro pound sort of grinding, Euro Aussie sort of grinding a little bit. The attention has been on the yen pairs. Dollar CAD. I had an up arrow on this yesterday. Do you remember that? I had a buy arrow, but that has disappeared on me. I think it was right in this area, wasn't it? A little up arrow. I don't know if it was here or here. I think it was over here. Somewhere in here. So my bias was to the upside in dollar CAD. Longer term, we have this really nice trend line rising. Now this is a weekly time frame, so this is zoomed out quite a bit. I still think dollar CAD could move higher. The price of crude is still continuing to be under a lot of pressure, currently at 48.08 right now. So a lot of pressure coming on crude. We had the OPEC discussions here, and it's been rolling over, putting in lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and sticking right about 47.80s. And we got to take the clues out of the market, right? Past. We got this area right here. We got the touch here, the touch here, the touch there. Little touch and break, rejected, touch, bounce, touch, and we're stuck right there. So to call a direction on crude right now is a little bit tough. Either it's a great time to sell or you're getting a great deal if it's going to bounce off this level. I don't know which way it's going to go. I don't have a bias either way. So I'm just going to let it be. We can even extend this out quite a ways here. You can see over here was the same area, how resistance became support. And now we're just stuck right in the important zone. And that zone isn't that big. This little gray box is only, 20 some cents. Looking at the 4 hour, we had discussed this prior. Is this a head and shoulders pattern? Could be counted as a head and shoulders pattern. This little area could be the neckline. If that's true, Could be $4 lower. Bring us down to 44. We'll see. So I'm really not at any kind of position to pick a position on crude right now. I still think it's going to move down. That's just my bias, but I'm not convinced enough either way to trade crude by itself. Since it's under pressure, though, I still see weakness in the Canadian currency, which would mean a long in the dollar CAD or the Euro CAD. Euro CAD would probably be a better bet to the upside. The only thing I don't like about the Euro CAD is it's really been stuck. I mean, how many hours here? 7-8 hours it's been stuck in this area. It was at this area 15 hours ago. It was at this area 20 hours ago. It was at this area 25 hours ago, 36 hours ago. I mean, it's really sticking here. We have this sort of wedge pattern that is forming. Not as clean here on the bottom half, but you get the idea. Very inaccurate wedge representation, but it's still there nonetheless. EuroCAD, is it burned out? No. It wouldn't be too surprising to see crude bounce off that strong level of support, bring the price of oil up and strengthen the Canadian dollar and pull this down. I mean, it's really been sticking, hasn't it? We're really stuck right up here. I'm talking about trying to get long on EuroCAD for days and days and weeks, finding the best place to get long. Maybe its time has come. Not a big fan of the EuroCAD. Trade it once in a while, but not a big fan of it. Let's see. I don't know about the summer demands. Thanks. Big Davis forecast 159. Gosh, I keep missing the chat. Get so into my charts. Nearly done a round trip on silver. Yeah, Yo-Yo, you're one of the silver fans that I like to talk with. Yep. 50% fib. I just like when silver starts to move, like a lot of other pairs, when it starts to move, it's very, very smooth. Like on the move down that we had over here. You remember this one? I mean, there was just no reason to exit a short ever. I mean, it just was so smooth. But again, hindsight, not valid here in this live trade room. Hindsight does us no good, but it does teach us some lessons. Let's take a look at the Euro Pound, Big Dave. 38% fib going south. Let's take a look. What time frame are you on with that? I didn't know. FS2 USA peeps traveling in their cars for holidays, airline demand. 1435 gold. I love Yo-Yo's big predictions. We've been joking about that since back in the premium room days. And if you're new here and you see premium member after somebody's names, we used to have a premium trade room as well as a public trade room, and now they're merged together. Yeah, gold 1400. Be crazy, right? Let's look at Euro Pound. Big Dave. Yeah, what if? Wait, I'll post a pic. I'm not sure what fib level we were looking at exactly on the Euro Pound. Maybe here? I'm assuming this is the one you're looking at. I think you meant the 38.2 retracement and continue to die. I think that's what you meant. So I'm still bullish on it. Obviously, I'm in it. I have for myself some nice large trades on Euro Pound on my third account that I like to trade with. Hey, Joey. Oh, yeah, you got it. Yeah, Big Dave, you got it. It could be 38.2 fib retracement on the move down. The reason that I don't like that as much is we have an upward trend right now. And we have, this trend line that's moving up. So that's the reason I choose to be long, along with other things. That's right. Yeah, so I think I might have drawn it back. I might have drawn it backwards. If you want to post a pick, Big Dave, that'd be awesome because I think I had it backwards. Joey, I haven't talked to you for a long time, man. How's it going? How's Florida treating you, man? I know you got a lot of things always going on. Hope your trading's going okay. Nice to see you. Yeah, but you're exactly right, Big Dave. That point is right. Let's use an example here on the euro dollar, just because I already have it up here. So this is the euro dollar. We'll get this A to B stuff out of here that we were doing earlier. So this is the euro dollar. I'm going to darken up the fib lines just a little bit so you get a better look at them. All right. So my point about the Fibonacci move was we have this rise all the way up, swing low to swing high on the hourly, and we went down to almost the 38.2 and continued. So the further down the price retraces into your Fibonacci levels, technically, now this isn't always right, of course, but just technically, the less far you expect the target to be. So if it only retraces a little bit, let's say the 23.6, you would expect a further target. If it retraces all the way to the 50, your target might just be back up at the swing highs or a little bit above. And it makes sense. You know, the more momentum that we have, the less pullback, the farther we project the target. Sort of technical trading 101. You know, it doesn't work all the time, but that's what part of the reason for doing the fibs. Joey is a crypto millionaire, too busy for FX peeps. Right? Yeah, Joey. Man, this is probably more for this stream than we need to have, but you were really getting into some of those cryptocurrencies when I talked to you months ago. I'm wondering if you held on or what the story is with that. Yeah, that was right. So that was the picture that I drew in for you there, right, Big Dave? So the thing is, though, is you know you're drawing it. It's upside down. I mean, you're basically drawing it downwards. So you have a move from a swing high all the way down to the swing low. Let me pull it up on my charts here so you can see it, or you can just click the link if you're in the chat here. So he has it drawn like this. And he's saying, hey, we got right up to the 38.2 retracement. We're going to move on down. That's correct in the way that it's looking, but that's basically trading down. So we're looking at the move down and how far we retrace back up to continue downwards. And I didn't draw it that way myself because I'm still watching for the upward trend here, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. I hope it makes sense to y'all. But you got the right idea on how to use the fibs. I mean, that's definitely the right idea, no doubt about it. There might even be a little divergence in here. After you look for divergence a lot, you start to be able to see it pretty easily without needing to pull up different filters, stochastics, MACD, that type of thing. Cool. Nice work. Very nice work. Yep, down right. Massive decision for me, which level to fit fib to. I use time frames. It makes good sense. I'm trying to learn something on fib too. Yeah, fib projections. Let's see if I could find something that will make sense here, just for a quick one. Let's use. Sort of need a divergence play. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to find one. But you can drag your Fibonacci levels to do a retracement, like I'm looking at on crude just randomly here, or you can look for a divergence play and reverse the fibs and use a fib extension. So you try to get short here at this double top, selling, looking for extension down in the 161.8 or even the 261.8 if you can get there. So there's more there in the MACD video that I had put out a while back. If you want to watch that. Hee. So are you saying the smaller fib retracement, the more a trend is likely to continue? Yes. ATXFX, yes. The smaller fib retracement, the more the trend is likely to continue further. That's right. 38.2 is a greater target than a 50 or a 61. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. All right, cool. Yo-yo, massive decision for me to fit. What level to fib to? Yeah. You got it, ATX. Yeah, I guess it depends on the time frame. I mean, you just sort of have to commit. You have to commit, and you have to make up your mind. Are you making a play on the daily? Or are you trying to make a play all the way down? And it's nice when the trend matches all the way, of course. So you have a trend up. And if you want to make it real simple, on the dollar yen, for example, if you're trying to find the direction of the trend, you can just use a 200 moving average if you wanted. It depends on, everybody's a little bit different. But I like to use a 200 moving average for the trend. I just use a simple. A lot of people use exponential. I don't like weighted. A simple moving average will give you the moving average across on a 200 will be 200 bars, the average, or candlesticks. 200 candlesticks, what's the average? The exponential will take out the extremes. We'll take out the really big or really small ones to give you a more sort of a linear, if you will, moving average. I just like the simple. I like it straight up. Like, let me know where it is. So we find the price action on the dollar yen is above the green line, the 200 moving average on the monthly. So that's an uptrend. Here we just bounced right off the 200, and the weekly still in an uptrend. The daily bounced right off, almost right off the 200 on an uptrend. The 4 hour is right over, crossing over. That's another thing I was looking at to try to be selling the dollar yen along with the pound yen, is we had the resistance levels that we broke through now, and we also had the 200 moving average coming up on the 4 hour time frame, which gave me a little more confidence to be trying to do a short sell on the dollar yen and the pound yen. The 1 hour time frame we were above, and vice versa. But that's just a quick and dirty way to determine the trend. And as you can see, the trend direction on the 30-minute is strongly up, but if you go to the weekly, it's mixed. So it depends what you're looking at. It's nice when they all align, but it doesn't happen that often. I mean, you're always going to have mixtures there. But you can see moving averages are a lot of traders trade the moving averages, and you can see how smoothly some of the price action follows that. The bad part is that it's a lagging indicator, so I don't use them very much. Sort of hyping it up and then telling you I don't use them very much because when you look at the trend on the monthly and the weekly, and you look at it once, you don't need to look at it every couple hours because it's not going to change. It takes a while. So I have an idea of where the trends are in most of the pairs that I watch, and I check it a couple times a week, and that's about it, because the big long-term trends don't change that fast. So I always do top-down analysis, but I don't always look at the really long ones because I already know where we are. 50 projects to 150 and so on. Right on. I wanted to post a quick link here for you. I know I'm going just a little bit long here, so I'm going to sign off here in a moment, but I want to post a couple of links for you. Let's see if I can find them before I sign off. Where is it? Here we go. Copy. Just give me just a moment here. Working on it. Thanks, Yo-Yo, Big Dave. Appreciate it. I don't know if you're able to see this or not. Let's see if it shows up. Sometimes these are, yeah, see you, Joey. Sometimes these are set up as private or something. But this is a good 23-minute video on MACD. Might interest you a little bit. Talking a little bit about divergence trading. Trying to give you some good relative content before I sign off. Something you can bookmark. Come back and watch sometime, maybe over the weekend, if you're feeling it. And here is Elliott wave theory introduction video, and one more. This is a 15-minute video on support and resistance in trading the Forex markets. So make sure you have these to watch in case you're interested. Yeah, put them in your education bin, bookmark them, put them in your watch later. Just good information. Try to do the best I can. They're not perfect videos, but I try to do the best. Keeping it real. All right. So currently right now, I am in, hey, Nog Nog, in the chat room on YouTube. I didn't see that. Currently, I'm just in the Euro Pound Long right now. That's the only one I'm going to be in, and that's the one I'm going to ride all the way down until we get to non-farm payroll. So again, don't forget to catch us all three of us within a half-hour window tomorrow morning for non-farm. Tony, Andrew, myself, and we'll leave it at that. Make it a great day, a great night, wherever you are. Happy trading. See you tomorrow.